Hey guys, amateur meteorologist FirstinWeather here. It is May 26, 2019, and so we have been stuck in this very rigid pattern with the Bermuda high in the southeast and that big wide trough for the west, really bringing in that record cold air for places like Denver and Rapid City. In fact, Denver even saw 3 inches of snow a few days ago, really unusual for this time of year in May. It's not unheard of to see snow in Denver in May, but to see it that late really is something that is very rare. And temperatures, in fact, were 30 to 35 degrees below average in a few areas. And basically, west of Texas, in that straight vertical line, going basically like this, areas to the west of this line were very below average for the last 2 weeks. It's been this consistent, deep trough over the west. And the jet stream pattern even now is something like this. So let me change the color for aesthetic purposes. So you have the jet stream, a nice big trough like right here with the big upper level low, and then you have the jet stream going sort of like that. Alright, and so right here you have that massive, very strong Bermuda high. Let me erase that really quickly. So you have a very powerful system of high pressure right here. Alright, so that's pumping in all that warm southwesterly air from the Gulf of Mexico states and also from the southern Atlantic Ocean and also the Caribbean Sea. And that's causing temperatures to be very hot over the entire southeast, basically areas in this red area right here, even basically all of Virginia. So these areas are all experiencing record warmth and will experience record warmth for the next week or so. Temperatures here have been well above average for the last week or so. And then areas here are seeing record cold temperatures as you have all that nice air from Canada coming in down south. And so what's it causing? Well, when you have really warm when you have really warm air from the southeast and then you have really cold air from the west, they're going to eventually collide somewhere, and that's where you're going to get the severe weather. Well, that collision point is right around here, alright? And so for the past, I don't know, week and a half, this same area has just been getting hammered with severe weather. We've had tornado outbreaks, we've had many people lose their lives from torrential rains that have caused lots and lots of flooding. In fact, there are basically flood warnings on every single river and creek and every single locality of water, to put it frankly, just west of the Mississippi, because these areas have just been hammered relentlessly with severe weather and heavy rain, as that jet stream goes right through the area and you have very warm air meaning very below average cold air, and as it happens you have incredible instability and you have lots of wind shear. So really the environment right here is extremely suitable for severe weather. In fact, if you go to the National Weather Service right now and you look at their severe weather forecast for tonight, you'll see that there's actually a moderate risk right here, right in that area where that jet stream is going like this. And then on top of that, you also have the risk of severe storms here, as that jet stream or as that cold air from here meets the warm air here. So basically it's a ring of fire essentially, where you have storms that are forming, and areas to the south of that ring of fire, for example in Virginia and all the southeastern states, these areas have been extremely dry over the last few days, as that Bermuda high really kills any type of storm that tries to come near. In fact, earlier today there was some very severe, they're not very severe, but pretty strong to severe storms in northwestern Virginia. But as those came further south, they rapidly weakened as they enter the stronghold of the Bermuda high. So it's a very powerful high. Areas basically right here have been staying very, very dry, and then places like DC and then Pennsylvania have been getting hammered by storms for the past few days, as they're right in that sweet spot where the warm air and cold air collide. And so for some portions of the country it's very stormy, others it's very hot and dry, and for others it's very cool for this time of year. So you have a very volatile pattern. So now let's see when this pattern has potential to finally end over the area. Let's go to the FV3 model, go to the upper air, and so we see that same pattern that's been in place for so long really has not changed much at all, really. So right now we have that trough slightly further west, that upper level low right here, and then we have that jet stream going like this. So you have that very strong high pressure right here, suppressing any precipitation right around here, and then you have the storms all right here. All right, really been hammered. In fact, last week there was that high risk, which is issued only about 2 or 3 times a year, and it was a really bad outbreak. So if we go through time, we see that now this is Wednesday. So you have the peak of the outbreak, the record heat outbreak in the southeast. If we look at the temperature anomalies, we see temperature anomalies are well above average. Excuse me. If we look at the 18Z temperature, look at the shaded forecast, we can see that temperatures are approaching near record levels. You have low 90s. I think this is slightly underdone actually. If we look at the NAM, let's see if it has a better understanding. It does not go out that far. Excuse me. Let's see. Nope, doesn't go out that far. It's new run coming in. Let's see. Yeah, so the NAM is also in the low 90s. I still think this is a bit underdone. Temperatures, I think, will maybe go into the mid to upper 90s for areas such as Richmond, Charlotte, areas south and east, and even west of there. If we go back to the FV3 and go to the national view, go to the temperature anomaly, we see that persistent pattern that's still locked in place. Very below average temperatures in the west, with that persistent Bermuda high right here, keeping temperatures well above average in this area in the southeast, while temperatures here are unusually cold for this time of year. If we go back to the upper dynamics and see what's going on, where did that thing go? Oh, right here. This continues, and then finally around the end of May, Thursday or Friday, so around May 31st, that pattern finally breaks. That Bermuda high weakens substantially, and we basically return to a split flow. So you have one part of the jet stream going like this, and then you have the other part going like this, and then they sort of meet, and this is disjointed with another branch, the big trough right here. So to me, if we look at the temperature anomalies, this suggests a more average pattern. If you go back to the upper anomalies, there's not really much significant troughing or ridging. However, things might be a little more wet right here. Things might be a little more dry right here and hot right here. And around this area, things might get a little stormy as you have that jet stream consolidating and you have that warm and slightly below average. However, the severe weather threat looks quite low, since there really won't be that much instability, as the cold air mass and the warm air mass won't be that significantly different. So there won't really be any severe storms, but after this pattern finally ends, the southeast will potentially get some much needed relief in terms of being so dry for such a long period of time. These areas right here could get hit with some frequent rains. Nothing significant in terms of severe or the potency of these storms, but some much needed rains nonetheless. Now, as we go through time, we'll see that this pattern continues more or less, with then you have some more troughing over the east, ridging over the west, nothing really too significant. And then the model wants to show some pretty good troughing and then pretty good ridging in the west, where we have this nice little ridge right here and this trough right here. And so that's interesting to note. As we go further in time, we have more of a dominant ridging pattern taking place, where we have a ridge over the entire country, and so very above average temperatures basically everywhere. Maybe an exception, the extreme southern United States. So when you're looking at a time frame that's ahead of a week or so, week and a half, then you want to look at some of the ensemble models, such as the GEFS. This gives you a better picture of what is potentially going to happen in the long run. So let's go back to June 3rd. So at this time, we're going to have more of an average pattern in the country, more or less. And then as we go through time, this is June 7th. Oops, sorry. This is June 7th. So we have some above average temperatures over here. So hot and dry there. And then we it wants to show something right here, the jet stream going like this. But there's not really anything merging. So really not much of a significant pattern, just above average temps here. And then as we go to the end of this pattern, we have some more significant ridging right here. and then some troughing right here. So it looks like after this very cold and mild, or cold and wet pattern for the western portions of the country, it looks like after May 31st that pattern will finally break down, and areas basically west of here, of this red line right here, let me change the color for demonstration purposes, and let's make the thickness about this. So areas west of this line are going to see a return to dry and warmer than average conditions, especially as you go to states like Montana, North Dakota, and Idaho, Washington. I think these areas could start to get quite toasty for their standards after May 31st. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys got a better understanding of why the pattern is like it is right now, and I'll see you next time.